In December 2022, Southwest Airline, a major US airline and the third largest by domestic passenger volume, faced a severe scheduling crisis. This crisis resulted in the cancellation of over 16,000 flights between December 21st and 31st, the peak of the holiday travel season, making it one of the most costly and largest crises in US airline history. The primary cause of the crisis was the airline's outdated crew scheduling software, which couldn't handle disruptions caused by severe winter weather. The software failed to efficiently reassign crews and aircrafts, leading to cascading cancellations and delays that extended over 11 days, ultimately costing Southwest an estimated $1.1 billion in losses. For a major airline like Southwest, one might expect its scheduling system to be robust and use state-of-the-art technology, but this wasn't the case. The software was outdated and antiquated. This problem isn't unique to Southwest or the airline industry. Many major infrastructure services the economy relies on, such as banking, airports, and power grids, use outdated softwares and systems. Why is this the case? In an era where we receive regular updates to our mobile devices, updating the software for critical systems to ensure little to no disruption should be straightforward and number one priority, right? Well, that's not always the case. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and in this video, we'll be exploring why legacy software is hard to update. Let's get into it. So what exactly is legacy software? It's like that old car your grandpa refuses to get rid of. It still runs, but it guzzles gas and breaks down at the worst times. Legacy software is outdated technologies that companies keep using because it works. Well, sort of. You'll get it in a minute, but first, you need to understand why they keep using it. The number one reason is something you can probably guess: profits. The investment to overhaul a software system is absolutely massive, and it's usually a multi-year effort. It requires fully understanding how the existing system works and creating standardization, which can end up leading to an overhaul in business processes that can be disruptive if not done properly. It requires really good engineers and project managers who are really good at what they do. Those personnel are not cheap, and many companies do not want to pay the top dollar for them unless it's absolutely necessary. From their perspective, why invest all that time and money in something that works most of the time? They would rather perform temporary fixes on issues that come up and have them be the next person's problem, rather than doing a rehaul that makes things better in the long run. Anything to spend less money and pad the bottom line. That's the driving factor behind a lot of corporate decisions, especially the choice to keep using old software since it already works. The second reason legacy software is hard to update and why companies keep using it is a lot more technical and functional. It's because of a concept called backward compatibility. Imagine you wrote an important essay in an old version of Microsoft Word back in college or high school. You'd still want to open that document seamlessly with the newest version of Word, right? Well, software updates have to ensure that new changes don't break everything that was built before. Microsoft, for example, has to make sure all documents created in older versions of their software work seamlessly with the latest versions. It's a lot more challenging than it seems. It requires a lot of planning and really good software design involving robust testing, among other things. Sometimes, older legacy companies would rather just buy newer companies and merge their products to enable certain features and stay competitive instead of implementing those features themselves. A prime example of this is Adobe. Remember when Adobe tried to buy Figma for like $1 gazillion? One of the major reasons is that Figma allows multiple people to work on the same document simultaneously. Collaboration, smooth as butter. Adobe, not so much. Their software is old, like really old. Updating Adobe to allow real-time collaboration would be like trying to turn a typewriter into a smartphone. The old systems were never designed with multi-collaboration in mind. Reworking them would be a nightmare and cause more harm than good. Speaking of nightmares, let's go back to the aviation sector. The boarding pass and ticketing systems in the US is another relic. The information on printed boarding passes are so jumbled and all over the place. It has a lot of unnecessary information, and finding what you actually need, like boarding time and gate numbers, feels like you're trying to find Nemo. These systems were built ages ago and keep getting little tweaks here and there, but those tweaks are like trying to install a modern GPS on grandpa's old car. It's not just plug and play. You've got to fiddle with wires, maybe even change the car's electrical system. Updating these legacy systems is similar. It's complex, costly, and time-consuming. The next logical question is, why don't companies just start afresh? Well, starting afresh is very expensive and risky. It's comparable to renovating an old house versus building a new one. Sure, building a new house sounds great, but what if you need to live in the house while it's being built? Companies can't just stop everything they're doing and wait for a new system to be developed. They need to keep the lights on, and that means often sticking with what they have even if it's a little bit shabby. An example of old software that's expensive and risky to update is the banking industry software. I'm sure you've tried to transfer money and been told it'll take a few days. I know I have. This is because many banks still use COBOL, a programming language from the 1950s. Systems built with this language are like an old typewriter in the attic. They get their job done, but slowly and inefficiently. Updating them is very challenging because so much of our financial infrastructure depends on these old systems working flawlessly 24/7. Any attempts to try to update them will increase the possibility of something going wrong, which can be absolutely catastrophic. Some healthcare sectors also use legacy software. Many hospitals use software from the 80s and 90s to manage patient records. Updating these systems isn't just a technical challenge, it's also a regulatory nightmare. All updates have to comply with strict healthcare regulations, which makes the whole process slower than a snail on a treadmill. And let's not even get into how fun it will be to find someone who understands these old systems well enough to update them. The final example is government systems. Like me, I'm sure you've wondered why renewing your driver's license or any government document can be such a hassle. Well, many government agencies use software that's older than some of their employees. These systems are crucial for everything from issuing licenses to managing social services, and updating them can be a Herculean task. Bro, what's my writer writing, bro?
What?
Using words that a nigga can pronounce.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Anyway, let's try that again. These systems are crucial for everything from issuing licenses to managing social services, and updating them can be a Herculean task. It's like trying to swap the engine in your car while still driving the car. So what can be done about legacy software? Well, here are some solutions. Incremental updates. Instead of doing a massive overhaul, companies can try to make small, manageable changes, like renovating a house one room at a time. It's less disruptive and spreads the cost over time. Designing software with updates in mind can also make future updates a lot simpler. A design principle that can help here is modular design, designing software in pieces and modules that are loosely coupled. If one part needs an update, you only replace that part without touching the rest. It also reduces the blast radius of potential problems. Another software design principle that can help is implementing thorough testing to ensure that updates don't break existing functionality and that every new release is backward compatible. Automated testing tools can simulate various scenarios to check for potential issues before they affect users. Proper training and good documentation can also go a long way in helping to keep systems updated. Ensuring current and future developers understand the old system will reduce the time and learning curve needed to update the system. It's kind of like passing down a family recipe. The better the documentation, the easier it is to keep the tradition alive, even if you tweak a few things here and there. A lot of companies have been known to use a mixture of old and new systems. They might keep the old legacy system running in the background while building a new, more user-friendly interface on top of it. It's almost like putting a new sleek body on grandpa's old car frame. It looks modern, but it still has the same old, somewhat reliable engine under the hood. Finally, open source communities can be an excellent resource for dealing with legacy software. A lot of old systems have dedicated communities that continue to support and update them. Engaging with those communities can provide valuable insights and tools for managing legacy systems. In reality, updating legacy software is like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. It's tough, but not impossible. With careful planning and a bit of creativity, companies and government agencies can make the transition if they invest in it. That's it for this one. For those of you who are new here, my name is Uma. I am a software engineer and a content creator. I enjoy learning and breaking down technical concepts related to programming and software engineering to make them easy for you to understand. I also coach software engineers one-on-one to help them learn and increase their earning potential. If you'd like to work with me, click the link below to apply for the Pro Dev coaching program. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace. Kissing broccoli, snammery, 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 snammery. Kissing broccoli, snammery. Ekman core, mimiaso. Jackalunka, mimiaso. Oh, mimiaso. Oh, mimiaso. Sorry, my bad.